What's up, YouTube? I'm Mike, and today I'm back apparently with a very needed proof of life video. I just had somebody on Instagram. I posted a physique update video like yesterday, and somebody got on my video and said a whole bunch of people on my latest YouTube video were like thinking I was dead. So I'm gonna shoot a real brief video just because I think it's funny right now, and honestly, because I'm a little bit loaded on my sleeping pills. Um, I just want you guys to know that the reason that I haven't been making videos for the past like month now is because I have literally gone to hell and back psychologically. I don't want to like blow this out of proportion for the sake of clicks, but the short side of it is that when I increased my nandrolone dose from 300 to 400 and I was taking Tren and Tren Ace, my prolactin level apparently got too high, and my wife spotted it, and she suggested that it could be prolactin. I'm about to fuck the camera up. It could be prolactin related, and so I started taking more Caber, trying to fix the problem. And when I started taking the Caber to fix the problem, it did fix it, but I didn't trust it because I was taking like a lot of Caber. So normally I take a quarter of a milligram of Caber every other day, and I had gotten to the point where I was taking, like, one week I took basically like a quarter a day. So what is that? A quarter times seven.
1 3/4.
1 3/4, which honestly might be necessary at some of these doses. But I didn't trust that I really needed that much. And so I went back into my old paranoid state that, oh no, it's my estrogen. Maybe the deck is making my estrogen go up. So when I increased the prolactin, when I increased the Caber, the effects went away, but I didn't trust it. And so I jumped back off, and the depression that got on top of me was the worst that I have ever experienced. I know I've made these videos before, and sure enough, every time that I do, the ultimate what we end up figuring out is that my prolactin was through the roof. I told you guys recently that on this no test cycle with nandrolone and trenbolone that I started lactating for the first time ever. And so I knew my prolactin was fucked up at that point. So basically, I have just been in a total state of anhedonia for the past at least a month since I shot that last video. I was probably in the early swings of it then. I don't know how long it's been since we've been on vacation.
7 weeks, 6 weeks.
6 weeks ago we were on vacation, and it was definitely having effects then. That's when I was testing the higher dose of Caber. So really, 6 weeks, give or take, I have been in some state or another of just absolute agony. Like, I could not get pleasure in anything. I quit wanting to have sex with my wife. I'd quit playing. I quit doing all of the things that I enjoy. Like, I just turned into a complete and total bot. Like, I couldn't connect with my kids. I couldn't connect with my wife. I didn't want to watch our favorite shows. I didn't want to read a book. I didn't want to play video games. There was one video game that was getting me through for some strange reason, but no satisfaction at work. I could not bring myself to get on camera. Motivating myself to do anything that I didn't absolutely have to do was basically impossible. So I was dragging my ass to mandatory meetings and bitching and complaining the whole way through. It's a miracle I haven't been fired. I've just been one massively disturbed hot mess for the past month, and I just couldn't make videos in that state. I should have maybe, but I didn't. So that's all that happened, guys. I've been out of the gym for 6 weeks. This is my first week back. I'm at like 202 today. My physique looks great. If you saw the update picture, for somebody who hasn't lifted in 6 weeks, I think I look really phenomenal. I'm getting back on my diet. I'm getting back on my training. I've got my prolactin dialed in now. I've switched from DECA to MPP because I had to, because I ran out of DECA and all I had was MPP. So I'm still dialing in the MPP dose to make sure that the Caber dose is accurate and everything's going to be functioning normally. But that's all it is. So, I mean, I appreciate like everybody who has followed along and is like constantly looking for videos, updates, and stuff. Those are going to start coming out more frequently, I think, now that I'm back to being a human being. I just can't express enough how much of a disaster the high prolactin is for me. And before somebody gets on here and says, "Well, dude, you could go get a prolactin test," and I got a prolactin test, my test came back negative. My test, my if I go check my prolactin right now, it'll probably be crushed. It'll probably on the test, it'll probably show lower than the low end of normal. And I have every single one of the prolactin of the symptoms of high prolactin, erectile dysfunction, like the decadic type of erectile dysfunction where it kind of breaks in the middle of the act, total disconnection from my girl, total anhedonia, no energy, lethargy, just you name it. And yet again, when I started dosing the Caber within days, I mean, my wife was blown away. She has been struggling next to me, going through hell and high water. The number of times I committed to off, I threatened to off myself, or would just be laying in bed next to her in such a dark place that I would just be like candidly, just sitting here talking to my wife, just candidly, like basically like running over. I'm trying not to use the S word because I don't know if I dinged, but running over end of life like scenarios. Like just like sitting here like literally just talking to her about ways that I might do it as if I was just talking to someone who didn't care about me at all. Like I was so disconnected from her feelings. It's the first time in my life where I just like had zero libido, no interest, but I knew it wasn't estrogen. Because that was the crazy thing. I was having morning wood every morning. I could get it up at the drop of a dime, but it would not continue to function, and I didn't want to use it. I was super depressed. Like I said, I want to keep beating a dead horse here. Total anhedonia, total inability to enjoy any of the things that I normally would have enjoyed. And I was like crying to my wife at points, like, I've got to go get some help. I've got to go to the therapist. I've got to do something because I'm going to off myself. I can't keep living this way. And then one day I got the wild hair to just be like, you know what? I'm going to double my Caber dose today. And I took an extra pill and I went to work and I was having this miserable day at work, and it was only reinforcing all of the doom and gloom that I'd been feeling. And as that fucking Caber started kicking in, all of a sudden I just started lighting up. And I couldn't within 4 or 5 hours of taking it, I started to get to the point where I couldn't even connect to the depths of the darkness that I'd been in. And then by the time I got home to my wife, I was starting to laugh and giggle, and she's like, I don't even trust this. I don't even know who you are. This is crazy. I can't believe, it's this big of an effect. And then over the course of the next few days of continued to dose it higher, all of the symptoms resided. So I know this is going to sound completely asinine. I shouldn't admit this. This is one of these embarrassing things that I admit I'm just going to get clowned on. But I've literally in the past, like 72 plus hours, gone from I was ready to jump off of a skyscraper to now I'm practicing Tantra. Total goner, dude. Prolactin is no joke. Anybody who tells you can run 19 NOR compounds without cabergoline is a liar. They are going to break your D game. They are going to cause you to end up being massively suicidal and depressed. And thank God I had the drugs on hand to solve it. I apologize for people who've been worried about me or who've been waiting for updates. The spring blast or the 2025 blast to 225 is still on in the process. Again, like I said, I lost all my gains when we went to vacation. So when we went on vacation, I was at 208. Got back, I was down to 198. I'm back up to 202 right now. So with the MK677 and all the hormones back in the protocol, me starting to lift on a consistent basis, we should be able to get back up to that 208, I would say, within a week. And then if I get to 208 in a week and I'm feeling everything, that's when we're probably going to look at, and as long as the MPP is stabilized, my prolactin is looking good, that's when we're probably going to start stepping the game up and start trying to finally push toward this goal. Because I've had a good long time out of the gym to recover. One other thing I can mention is that I discovered during this off period that my body reacts very, very well to nebivolol, One really sad story I have to share with you guys is I've been using a wrist cuff for like the past 5 years to check my blood pressure, and I found out recently that my blood pressure readings have all been faulty. So I have likely been averaging a blood pressure anywhere between 135 and up to 150 over middle 70s, middle 80s for possibly 3 plus years. So I don't know, that's definitely on the upper end of the range of hypertension. I don't know if I've done any damage to my kidneys or any of my other major organs having that kind of blood pressure for 3 consecutive, maybe 4 years. I can't know for sure, but I have a lot of evidence from every time I've gotten my pressure checked at like a blood draw or at a doctor where they used a normal arm cuff. I was always reading in the 145s at a minimum. And so it's pretty clear that I've had massively elevated blood pressure for many, many years now. I added nebivolol in when I was on vacation to my telmisartan regimen, and it was the first time in my life. It took several days, but it was the first time in the last 4 years that I was able to get consistently normal readings with my blood pressure cuff on my arm. So I had gone from as high as 155 over 88 one night, where I was feeling really bad. I had like 102 pulse, 155 over 88. And then when I was on the nebivolol, I got down to like 170, 117 over 70 something. It dropped my pulse from the high 90s to the low 70s. And then I fucking ran out because I had only bought just enough to trial it to see if it was going to work. So hopefully it's going to be arriving in the next 2 days, because one of the really cool things that nebivolol does is it's a beta blocker, but it targets the beta receptors, I guess, in the heart. And so what it effectively does is it can kind of mask some of the, like, a lot of times I think I'm having a panic attack, and I take Xanax to help with it, and it will be helpful, but basically all of the symptoms I'm feeling are in my heart, like rapid heartbeat, racing, fluttering heart. These are all symptoms you can get from using very high doses of steroids and of hypertension. And so the nebivolol comes along and it slows my heart rate down. It gets my blood pressure down. It takes the extreme pressure, just general, off my system. I was feeling substantially better on the nebivolol, and I ended up needing to take less Xanax because I think a lot of the times that I was thinking I had anxiety, what I really had was just the fluttering heart, pounding heart, flooding heart from hypertension or from whatever, high pulse rate, whatever was going on. The nebivolol seemed to be solving it. So I've been back in hell for like the last 3 weeks waiting for my order to come in. So I may have a whole video coming up about that. So there you have it. I'm in bed. As you can see, I just thought it was funny because there was so many messages of people like asking for a proof of life and saying that I'd gone to the other side. I'm perfectly alive and well and healthy. I have not trained. I just started training for the first week after a 6-week hiatus. My weight has been down in the toilet around 198 when I've been just completely lazing around the house with my wife and being useless and trying to keep this job thing afloat, which has just been a total epic nightmare. Hopefully, there's a chance it could turn really good on April 1st. Some new changes are rolling out that could be a game changer. And if that happens, you'll probably see a lot more content because it'll free me up to do a lot of things. But yeah, man, I just haven't been in the right mental headspace to be able to make a video. But I'm back now, feeling much better, making progress in the gym. So there it is. Here I am, alive and well. Here's your proof of life video. I got to cut this short and get to bed because my sleeping pills are kicking in. I'm going to start mumbling. But just want to give you guys a quick update about what's going on. And then I'll shoot a video this week showing you my physique and talking about, what the comeback has been like and all the stuff that you guys like to hear, protocols, diet, training, all that stuff. So as always, thank you for watching. We'll see you on the next one.